Hi, hello, how are you, Amanda? Saint artist, cream-based 3D foundation, super pigmented. We're gonna get your makeup on and it's gonna cover all the things you want it to cover. It's gonna be as full or as light of coverage as you want. And we're gonna go off of my color match. So when I color match people, send me a makeup-free selfie facing a window a couple steps back. I'm gonna recommend it all because I want you to have the information to have something as simple as the basics, but also as in-depth if you want more. And it's a choose your own adventure of makeup, 100% customizable. I give you all the info, I lead you to the water, and you get to drink as much or as little as you want. I like that because I'm not gonna bug you every couple days being like, so I noticed you're still thinking. Do you want anything? Do you have any questions? I noticed you didn't, no, you're not gonna hear from me. You're not gonna hear from me unless you reach back out to me, okay? And then we can start the conversation, but I am a low pressure kind of gal. My color match has an asterisk by the basics, which is your main shade, your brightening shade, a contour color, and a blush. But then I have things like correctors because I got stuff, and my stuff is my insecurity. So I always give all the info just in case. And if you don't want to get it, don't. If that's not how you want it, don't. If you like light minimalistic coverage, perfect. My color match does that. But then if you want more, there's a place to reference to grow. And that's what I like. It's almost like the basics with a wish list attached. Okay, so let's put on our makeup. You should always have good skincare. So find your favorite skincare, use it, give it 20 minutes or more. Get yourself a good primer. I like Milk Hydro Grip. And we're gonna put that on, and this is gonna give you longevity out of your makeup. Now, I'm 45 with oily skin. Creams work well with oily skin, but like everything, skincare isn't one for everyone. Makeup isn't either. My skincare helps my makeup, but my makeup works with my skin. My skin isn't the same as it was in my 20s or my 30s. I'm 45. So my skin has movability, the pores are getting bigger, my fine lines are getting deeper, and I need makeup that works with that. And the makeup I was using in my 20s stopped working with it. This is a makeup that's gonna work with your changing skin. So it's gonna go with you. And I like that, okay? I have hyperpigmentation coming in. I've got some darkness under my eyes. And so I have correctors, which I will recommend to you if I feel you need it. If it's not included, it's because this is 80% pigmentation. You may not need it, okay? I'm gonna use a shape brush. This is a brush that's great because it comes in a collection with setting powder. And if you have oily skin like me, this is a game changer because it's a great powder brush, but it's a great corrector brush because it's a light application brush. Huge when it comes to working with powders, but also huge when it's working with correctors because correctors are more like a mute button. They're not a coverage. They are a muter. So I want to reduce some of my redness I have around my nose on my old scarring. So I'm going to go into the color Aspen. It's a contour, it's dense, and it's gray. I'm going to pinch it, and I'm just going to pick a little bit up. Not a whole lot. It just looks like dust on a brush. And I'm going to sweep this over my redness. And it's just going to mute it, dull it, and then you're still going to see the stuff. It just turned the volume down. The redness isn't as red. All right? Super simple. It's that easy. 80% pigmentation means you get very minimal product, but maximum correcting. So there's not a gray tone to my skin. There's not a makeup texture to my skin, but I got stuff. And I don't want to make the trade-off of covering the stuff, but then adding that thick makeup look, texture, okay? You can cover all the color, but then your makeup may have that accentuating your pores, fine lines, just it can take your skin texture that is very beautiful and turn it into something else, okay? This doesn't do that because you need so little. All right, the next color I'm gonna go into, because I'm done with my redness, is Walnut Contour, also dense, and it's the similar shade to my hyperpigmentation. So I'm gonna do the same thing, pinch it, pick some up. It should look a little dirty, and we're gonna go, instead of fixing this, we're gonna fix this to be similar to this and to this and to this, and it's just growing up like ivy. So we're gonna go around the spot. And again, we're still gonna see the spots, but the skin around it is more of a similar tone. So it's gonna hold my makeup on top. So the density of Aspen and Walnut is going to be a holder of your makeup, but also balancing your skin so that when you put your main shade on, it all works together. Grabbing a little more. We're going to go around here, and again, mine's growing like ivy, so I just keep it in this general area, and then I bring it upward. And again, you don't even see my skin changing color. You just see things starting to have the volume turned down a little bit. Okay, so that's how that works with these correctors. Now my under eyes. Under eyes are a soft tissue. There is texture there because there's nothing holding it. You got your orbital bone, your eyeball, and you got this hammock. And so to reduce texture, now this, if you're a traditional concealer girl, you should invest in a good balm. And this balm is the balm, and it fits right in your palette. Everything's customizable, and you want to add extra hydration under your eyes, especially if you're using something like Tarte, NARS, NYX. Those don't have a lot of movability, and they start to set, which means they crack, they gather, and they get a little crepey. Adding a hydrator underneath is going to change the game for you on those products, okay? And you can use an Aquaphor stick if that's what you want to do, but I like this balm the best. I know the Honest Company has a really great balm as well, but Saint's got my heart. Okay, now I'm going to go into this color here. This is a blush color, but it's also a lip color, but it's also an under eye corrector color, and this is Frenchy, and it's a shade of peach. My fingernail broke. Bear with me on it. All right, not the end of the world. We're just going to correct this darkness here by adding this peach shade. And I'm just gonna mix it in with that balm under my eye and tap it out, and it turns it just almost like a skin tone. All right, grabbing some more, very little, and then we're just sweeping this and making it thin, but working it with that balm. So it doesn't add a texture of cream. It works as a balm that's got some tint to it now. And then we can go on and we can do our makeup. So if you don't have correcting things, you didn't need any of this. But then we get into the basics. Now I'm going to show you the basics, all right? And I always recommend two brushes, the blush and bronzer brush, because who doesn't want a bronzer? I use Xanadu, especially in the winter. I feel like it's a little more cool toned, works better in the winter. And then it comes in a collection with this, and it saves you about $11. Great. I also recommend, if you want a second brush, getting the detail brush. It's great for contouring just based off of the shape. Okay, so those are the two we're going to use because this is off of my color match. I'm going to use this brush to put on my main shade. My main shade right now is Athens, so I'm going to tap into it. Don't sweep. You don't want it clumping together. And we're just going to balance our skin tone down here by adding a shade that matches our skin the most. Our face isn't one-dimensional, so we don't need to be putting on our makeup as if it is. So I'm only putting this really on the beard of my face and balancing the lower part, and then bringing it to my neck. I just want to balance around my mouth, into the crease of my nose, and on the lower part of my face here. That's it. That's all I need for my main foundation, which is far different than anything you've been doing. All right, going back into Athens, and we're just going to balance right here. Again, just sweeping it around. If you have a lot of movement on your skin for maturity, stipple. Okay, remember, this is 80% pigmentation, so a little goes a long, long way. Less is more. Less is more all over your face. It's usually less is more under your eyes. Less is more everywhere, okay? This is 80% pigmentation. Your traditional foundation is 18%. Huge difference, which means maximum coverage, minimal product. All right, so we're just bringing that down and around, bringing it down the neck. And then I'm going to go into my next shade, which is White Peach. I keep these close together because they aren't that far off, but they're far off, okay? So this is going to be too light for my skin, a lot like reflecting light. And this is like your concealer. So we're going to grab that White Peach color. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to add a color that's just a shade too light or two. And this is just going to give the illusion of reflecting light, but it's also going to give me some balance where my skin always looks a little bit lighter. I like to grab a little bit on my chin because light reflects off the chin, as well as the Cupid's bow. And it just makes this a very pretty area. Okay, so we're basically putting on colors based off of the structure of our face rather than turning it one color and then restructuring it, which is adding more product than necessary to your skin, which is creating more skin texture. It's taking that texture that's very beautiful, but making it look like something it isn't. Okay, now we're going to switch to the detail brush because it is my favorite brush to contour with. And on the second layer is where I have my contour and my bronzer and my blush. I'm going to go into my contour here. This is Stone. And I'm going to have natural shadow tones up here, and that's where I'm going to put my contour. Just right up on the outer part of my forehead. I bring it to the outer part of my brow and then the mid. And this is going to give me coverage because it's 80% pigmentation. It's also going to give me balance. All right, so we're going to go right above this natural shadow here, and we're going to follow the curvature of our cheek. And you can see that on your face by smiling, by smirking, or maybe you just have really great structure without, and so on your resting face you can figure it out. All right, so I just add a little bit. A little goes a long way. Okay, I put it on the beard. This goes just above that beard, and right here, stone works well with hyperpigmentation as well. I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna do the side of my nose. The side of my nose here, square it off. And over here, you can see the structure is coming and it's lifting things and bringing a little life back to the face. This is where you start seeing the way this stuff works. Okay, I'm just gonna work on half the face and then we'll bang out the rest. I'm gonna go into Xanadu, and we're just gonna put that up here and then up on the top of that cheekbone here. And this is just gonna add a touch of warmth. But again, for winter, it's a little more cool toned. I'm gonna take this small end, I'm gonna pull this brightening, and I'm gonna marry together my brightening and my contour bronzer area. All right, easy, 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 okay? Next, I'm gonna go into a blush color. This is Hollywood. It's a lighter pink, and it works well with hyperpigmentation, but because of my scarring, I'm gonna take a little bit of that Frenchie that was under my eyes, and I'm gonna go right over my cheek scarring that I have. This works as a great tool. Then I can go in with my blush and bronzer. I'm gonna go into Hollywood, and I can add my blush up top and then bring it down to that Frenchie, and it's not gonna pull my scarring through, okay? Super buildable. Everything is 80% pigmentation. Everything, including this blush, is a foundation coverage shade, but it's all based off of the tones of your skin. All right, we're gonna go to the small end of the detail brush. I go back and forth between these two brushes a lot. I'm gonna grab a little bit of contour, and I'm just gonna get in front of my earlobe and down. This is just gonna chisel things out, balance to my face when I bring it down my neck. Super simple, very easy. Small end, we're gonna go to that white peach, and we're gonna tap some onto the small end, and we're gonna take this natural shine, and we're gonna add to it. We're gonna bring it up that orbital bone, staying outside of this trough. Texture is texture, it's always gonna be there. However, we don't have to accentuate it, we're going to enhance it. Skin is a texture that's very beautiful. Too much product can change the look of that texture. I'm gonna go from that little shine spot up into my inner corner here, tapping over all this balm and corrector to keep it where it is, but also brightening it. And I'm staying outside of that trough. Then after this is all blended out, I'm gonna go into my nose crease, my smile line. Then I will blend it up onto that soft tissue. And this is gonna give me all that structure and balance that I want, okay? A lot of people feel like you can't see the difference. There's a difference. It just adds a little life back in, and it's so fun. Makeup should be fun, or we're doing it wrong. All right, let's go to the other side, and I'll just show you real quick. So we just grab it, sweep it. This should be easy, okay? It's a little bit different than what you're used to, but that's okay. All right, grabbing a little bronzer, going right here, blending it in, and pulling this out. So easy. Having a double-ended brush is so nice because you just flip it back and forth, get everything done that you want to get done, going into that bronzer, and once you get your placement, everything else just falls right into place. Super simple. You don't have much to worry about. It just goes together. You can use a detail brush for everything. You can switch in between. I like this brush just for full blending. It's just nice. All right. But your whole face can be done in 10 minutes. I talk a lot and I explain a lot, which is my job. And so it takes me a little longer because I get into the nitty gritty. I get all TED talky with my makeup sometimes. All right. So especially when somebody says, you don't need makeup. I never said I did. I said I like it. There's a difference. I feel good in it. And that's all makeup should do. It should feel good. It's like chocolate. We don't need that either. But it feels good. So does makeup. All right, going into that brightening again. We're just gonna go up that orbital, tapping as I need. It's easier to build up, but it is very simple to bring it back down too. And then onto that soft tissue. Stippling is your best friend, especially with maturing skin. You want the least amount of tug and pull as possible, okay? All right, so tapping that around, bringing that together. If you wanna add more blush and bronzer, do it. It's your face, it's your makeup. Get to wear it however you want. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of bronzer here, and just contour my lips a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna go in and we're gonna grab that bronzer here. We're gonna use an endpoint brush. It's so great because it has this little tiny end here, great for lips, but then the opposite side, great for eyeliner. All right, we're gonna grab some of that bronzer and I'm just going to line my lips with my bronzer. Everything in here is usable for your whole darn face. Okay, and I mean, this is a palette 12. I still have room for more if I want to add a variety of blushes, because sometimes you feel pink, sometimes you feel warm, sometimes you feel like you want a nice neutral. None are wrong, and you have room to grow. Eyeshadows can go here. You can fit six eyeshadows in here. Okay, now I'm going to go in. I'm going to grab some of this pink. I'm going to add that to my bronzer, lip liner, and it matches my cheeks, and it's so pretty. And that's that. So now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna set it. I like a setting spray that doesn't have hydration as much as it has sealing. So I'm gonna use the Porefessionals, or I like Blue Marble. I was hoping for a good Black Friday sale. There wasn't one. I saved myself $2, but that's gotta wait for my stocking. Okay, we're gonna take this, it's nice and misty. So we're just gonna mist our face, get it decently damp. That's okay, it's creams, it's not gonna compromise anything. And then, like I said, the shape brush, this brush comes in a collection with setting powder. There's vanilla dust and then there's feather blotting dust. I like the feather blotting dust because it has a sheen to it, which then lets my skin, but also lets my makeup be set. We're gonna take this fluffy and we're gonna grab some, I use a palette too, and I put 2 in there because I use a lot of it. We're gonna start where our least textures. So mine's out here, and then we're just gonna bring it around the top, and then I bring it downward onto my higher texture areas, which is between my brows, okay? I mean, I got 3 kids. I'm gonna have some stuff going on there. Grab a little more, same with the temple, bring it down the side. This is where your phone hits. You wanna set this area because phones pick up makeup. Then you can bring it down where all your texture is, your pores, your under eyes, your smile lines, your creasing around your nose, your chin, where all that texture is the last place you put the powder. Grab a little more, we're gonna go to that temple, down the phone zone, and then to the pores and the under eyes and the smile lines and the things. But because it has that sheen, my skin is still skinning. Your makeup will always look like makeup. I just need to contour over here. But it should look like good makeup, okay? Makeup will always look like makeup. You shouldn't have to compromise coverage for texture. You can have your makeup and eat it too. All right, but it is makeup, not magic. So be sure to set, especially if you're oily. I go from dewy to greasy really quick. So I have a skincare that works with maturing oily skin. And I also use products that work with my skin. Your skin tells you when it doesn't like something, but it also tells you when it does. Okay, so that's my makeup. It's easy and it's not wild. This isn't unachievable. This is your everyday, I could go to work with this makeup. I don't look like a glam bot. I look like a human. I look realistic. You want your makeup to be real people makeup. This is real people makeup. It has a real people makeup price too. It's $16 a color. Some things are $18, but traditional foundations, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70 for one bottle of foundation. Then you got to get your concealer. Then you go get the blush, then you go get the powder, and then you go get the bag because you got to throw it all in a bag and search for it, or you can get a little palette, magnetically click everything in exactly what you want out of your makeup, and it's affordable. That's what's key for me. It's affordable makeup. You don't have to sit your husband down, which is something I had to do when I was using other makeup and it was time to restock, and I had to sit down and be like, I got to spend a couple $100. What if you could spend under $100? For everything. I mean, the price for one bottle of foundation could be your whole face with Seint. It just depends on what you want out of your makeup. So let's talk about it. We can talk budget, we talk skin, we talk makeup, we talk all the stuff. Message me. Now you know what to do with my color match. You've got your makeup. Now what? Now what? Now we go add more. We go add more. You go look at my letter, see the other things I recommend, and throw a couple other tins in your palette. Okay, that's it. Have a great day.